Reish Nun Beis.
Taf Resh Nun.
This way.
Taf Resh Nun Beis.
What area?
Nun Beis.
Shabbos, right?
Yeah. Continue.
Resh Kuf.
Yeah, Reish Kuf. Yeah. Sif Dalet. Page Taf Reish Nun Beis, Sif Dalet. Last week he discussed the malacha of goizes, of shearing wool, cutting nails, cutting hair on Shabbos.
Nun Hey?
Nun Beis.
Nun Beis?
Taf Reish Nun Beis.
Nun Beis, okay.
Sif Dalet.
Okay, sure.
Tonight we're going to discuss writing. Writing and erasing on Shabbos. Ha-koise v'ha-moichek, someone who writes, v'ha-moichek, and someone who erases, amanas lichtov, b'makom shemachak. If they erased in order to write in the spot where they erased. If you just erase, not in order to write in that spot, so it's not osir min ha-Torah.
Oh, it's not that.
Okay.
It's osir, but midirabanan, not min ha-Torah.
If he erases in order to rewrite.
If he erases in order to rewrite, it's osir min ha-Torah. But if he just erases not in order to rewrite, it's only osir midirabanan. Because erasing in the Mishkan was done only in order to rewrite.
Mm-hmm.
To rewrite.
Yeah, look. He says over here, Me'aves malachas hein. They are from the Aves malachas, the lamitas malachas. Shekene ukoisven al-karsha Mishkan. They used to write on the beams in the Mishkan. L'simen is a sign, Leida Eza ben
To put
Zugay.
it up. To put it up. 'Cause
Yeah.
They were taking it down and putting it up.
So they had to know when they
Like
put
we
it back
do on the
up.
sukkah.
Right.
That's empty, yeah.
To know which one is supposed to be next to the other one.
Right.
Upa'am shatal. There were times that they made mistakes. They would erase what they wrote, and they would rewrite again in that place. To erase, not in order to rewrite in that spot, did not exist in the Mishkan. There wasn't such a mechika. Just to erase things.
But were they able to take it down and put it up on Shabbos? In the Mishkan?
No.
So what was the necessity of correcting it on Shabbos if they couldn't do it anyway?
Ein a chanami, but the Mishkan, the way what we consider, the Torah considers malacha. What is considered work? Work is considered the work that was done in the putting up in the Mishkan. The putting in the Mishkan wasn't on Shabbos. But what constitutes malacha, work, is work that was done to put up the Mishkan. So only what was in the Mishkan is going to be asr on Shabbos.
And I don't think was in the Mishkan, but the Mikdash.
It's not
3,000
us.
years later, we cannot...
So you have to see. You're right. That's why, for example, you have to always look in each case to see how it
Each
applies
case,
today.
right.
100%.
I never understood this thing because the Koroshim were overlaid with gold. Now you can't use ink to write on gold, just no stick. And that's one problem. And second problem, even if they did somehow write on the Koroshim, in order to know where to replace it to, it would seem severa that once you put the Mishkan up, you would erase that just because of kavod. It's not like kavod to the Mishkan that you should have these markings on it.
Yeah.
Well,
I hear. But then they would have to rewrite it again before they took it down again. So they'd have to...
So that's again taking apart, not putting together.
Right, but they would...
And going back to the first thing, how do you write on the...
That's a good question. I don't know. Is there nothing to write on gold?
probably a
something
felt
so
mark.
kayama, I'm not sure. Like you can take
The permanent marker?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any gold to spare we can write on it?
David.
Wait a minute. The beams that they put up were coated with gold.
Coated, yeah. The truth is they were not entirely coated with gold. What does it say they were?
I'm not familiar with that.
What does it say in the psukim? It does. It says that they were the sticks were the badim. The sticks were coated with gold. The krushim as well were coated with gold. I don't recall.
Mishkan page.
Tough Reish Nun Beis.
Okay.
So Moichik Shaloya Manas
Can you sit with us, not the other table? We want to see
to raise in order to write. The Hayab Mishkan was not in the Mishkan. The Ein Zu Malacha Klal wasn't the Malacha. Says the. Now we're going to see some chidushim here. And that's from the Alter Rebbe, from other poskim before. But what is considered being koisif and moichik? Hoyel v'chiv ha-moichik hu mishum she'oise kein amanas lichtoiv. Middle Sif Dalet. Towards the beginning. Page Taf Reish Nun Beis. Since the chiv of erasing is an order that you're going to write in that spot, you prepare a place to write. Even if you didn't erase letters, there was some scribbling of ink, and you erase that scribbling of ink in order to write in that spot. That's also considered moichik. It's not letters. I didn't erase letters. It's not about erasing letters. It's about erasing and making a place to write something new. It's not nageya what you wrote. And if they made a mistake and someone scribbled something on the kerish and they erased it, it has nothing to do with what they erased. It's that they erased something in order to make space to write to something else. So therefore, even if you just erased ink, oy shaiva, or wax, they used to have those days, they had a pad, a wax pad with shaiva wax on the. They had like a board, and they had wax. The board was full of wax, and they could engrave on the wax board what they wanted to write. They would have a metal pen, and they would write with this metal scratch on it. So
templates.
Yeah. Now, what happens if those days they had a lot of candles around, and that's where they had the candelabras made out of candles. So what happens is some wax dripped on top of this wax. Some wax drippings went on top of this pad of wax. So now you're going to want to remove it to make space to write there. So if someone removes that wax, if you did it in the space that takes to write 2 letters, you're chayiv. Oy shaiva shanafal a pinkus on top of Tafresh Nun Gimel. Wax that fell on top of a pinkus, of a pad. And luchais, boards, chakukim, which are engraved, boards of wood which are engraved. V'tuchim b'shaiva, and they're smeared with wax. V'choiking aleim be'eit, and they would engrave on it with a 8 barzel, an iron pen. V'nafal aleha shaiva cheres, and another wax fell on it. Omachka, you erased this wax. V'hisira, and you removed it misham from there. Why? Kedei lachik b'mekoyma, to engrave in that spot underneath it. Ala shayv shtachter hatucha beluach, on that wax which on the pad. Chayiv yichayiv. V'hu shehei b'mekoyma yikei lichte v'lachik bezoitis. It has to. You're only chayiv to bring a chatos, a carbon, if in that area you were able to write or engrave 2 letters. Obviously, also someone who's writing or erasing letters is only chayiv when it's 2 letters. For 1 letter, like we said earlier last week, or the malacha of goizes. If you cut 1 here, not plucking with your fingers, but you cut 1 here, you're also aser min hatoira, but you're not chayiv a carbon. You can't be chayiv, you can't be punished. Right. But it's aser min hatoira to do it chatzi shir. Be chayiv a carbon needs to be a certain shir. So over here as well, if you wrote or erased something in order to write in that place 1 letter, it's aser min hatoira, not chayiv. Like all chatzi shir in the entire Torah is aser. Same thing is also with the wax pad. If it's one letter, it's also in a Torah. Further, this is now a big chiddush, and you'll see there some argue with this. V'hu adin, ha-meisir shayve shenot vala oisius. You have a Sefer Torah, or something else made out of cloth, wax dripped on it, and hardened. You want to take it off. You take off that wax.
You're going to remove a letter, maybe.
No, you're not removing it.
It's a problem on Shabbos.
You might.
No, by removing the wax to uncover the letters.
Oh.
According to this shita,
The wax itself has an inverted letter.
no. The Sefer Torah. You have a letter in the Sefer Torah by Yoimer. The wax covered over, dripped on it. The candelabra on the bima dripped on the Sefer Torah. So you want to push away. You want to scratch off the wax, not the letter. Just peel off the wax.
You're removing.
Keep the letters.
Dried.
You're revealing letters.
You're revealing letters. It's a big chiddush. What's the svara? The mali misakim mokim l'ksiva. What does it make a difference what you did? Whether you prepared a place to write, or mali, or whether misakin oisaksuv, you fixed written letters up. Letters already written.
If the only Sefer Torah,
You fixed it.
It's a very big
not already-
chiddush. By the way, is the Sefer Torah apostle?
No,
If you have to read this parsha, so it could be problematic because I can't see the letters. So maybe I'm reading it Baal Peh. But if I'm reading another parsha,
why should it be possible?
who said it's by the Torah itself is good.
Well, it's
The Torah itself. There's a whole discussion about this in Poskim. Some of the Poskim over here get into sidetracked a little bit into Hilchas Sefer Torah as to what's the status of the Sefer Torah. Do we look at it when the letters of the wax is on it that the letters are no longer here? The letters don't exist. We say the letters are here, just I can't see the letters. The reader can't see the letters, the Baal Koira. So the Sefer Torah Be'etzem is kosher.
So if you put a removable sticker, let's say, it would be the same problem.
but the Sefer Torah, is that Ma'us? Even though it's different parsha, it's Ma'us. I think so.
It's what? What did you say?
Ma'us.
Not nice. Yeah, it's not nice, but the shaila is if it's possible or not. I'm asking it.
What's Mos? What's
Shabbos, you can't take it off. The shaila is on Shabbos. This shaila happened on Shabbos.
Right.
Shabbos, you're not allowed, according to the Shita, you're not allowed to take it off. So I have to really know what's the status of the Sefer
What,
Torah.
there's a sheet to the whole Chafila, you're allowed to take it off. Sorry.
Yesh mekilim bazeh. Look here.
Yesh
Yesh mekilim bazeh. There are those that I make with this shaila because it's a big chiddush. I'm not doing any erasing. I'm just removing.
You're going from altogether chayiv, that it's a real leichik, to yesh mekilim. There's no.
It doesn't say clearly over here chayiv, but it's mashma the shita also is chayiv. He said, but adrabe
Mali.
zehu tikkun yoyse. We skip these words. On the contrary, this is a more of a tikkun. If I'm just erasing a spot in order to write, I didn't write yet. I didn't do such a big tikkun. Bichlal moichik, erasing is considered a kalk. I'm destroying. I'm not doing something. Shabbos, you're only chayiv for being productive, for doing something that's helpful. So if I'm erasing, it's helpful because I erased in order to write in that spot. So it was helpful. It was a tikkun. It wasn't a makalka. Right. Over here it says this shita holds that hayois. That over here it's even a bigger tikkun, because I didn't only erase in order to write. There is letters there already, and by my erasing it, that itself is a tikkun. Not only that, erasing it leaves room for later someone to write in that spot and make a tikkun. The actual erasing itself brings a tikkun. So the erasing itself is a tikkun. The issue with moichik sheloya manas lichtev is it's not a tikkun; it's a mekalkal. But if the moichik is itself a tikkun, just by peeling it off, that itself the sack in the letters.
It's closer to the real thing.
Right, that's what the svar of the sheet is. However, yesh mekilim as the other achronim are make with this, and they say, listen, you're not actually writing on the spot. So, but this shows you how
How often this happen? Once a million.
Today's days it doesn't have.
Shabbat falling down.
Those days, I actually don't think it was once in a while. I think it was often. This was a very common
There
shiloh.
was a candelabra. It could drip.
They had in the shul, but like we have candelabras, if they were full of candles.
Took
They
it
don't
home.
put it
On
next
top
to
of the
bima.
bima, on top near the bima. By the way, it doesn't have to be a Sefer Torah here also. It could be a Sefer. It doesn't have to be a Sefer Torah. But for Sefer Torah, it'd be more important that you need to read the Sefer Torah. I don't think it was so far-fetched to happen those days. You know, not always they read on the bima. Let's say they wanted to make a second kriya or, you know, whatever it was.
But even if it was,
We have to think into those times where these things were more.
well, it's far.
It's not just they thinking of a shiloh. The shiloh
that
is
will never happen. Allah is full of things that almost never happen.
true, but in this case, I don't think it's one of those cases.
It's
You
like
have-
on Yom Tov you have esrog and a wax when in the esrog.
Yeah, we have to know the lifestyle then. Things
Yeah,
were
but they have
different.
no
then, you
mechika
know?
there.
You know, we have a lot of halachas about animals in the Torah. Behemoths and they deal with your behemoth and
You don't
feed.
have nothing to do with
So you
that.
don't have as much today, but that's how they live.
Used to have Hazanish used to have one of the to stay by him when he learned Friday night, so he did such on the candles.
To remind them.
Yeah. Because that's all he had. He didn't
The people in Israel who don't use electricity on Shabbat.
Still is.
The people in Israel who don't use electricity
There still are
because
people.
because they say that you're not allowed to because the Jews work on the electricity.
So they have their own generator.
So instead they use candles. Or
No, they have their own generator.
They have their own generator, or they use candles.
You think there's a lot of people using candles?
No,
So many.
like Beidach Haridit, those type of people.
They must probably have their own generators.
Their own generator.
Yeah.
Okay, they have the generator in the shul, in the big shul, but what about their own house?
I don't know. Taka
their
don't
own
know.
generator, just like-
Maybe they have candles. Maybe the Taka using candles. Listen, if there's a blackout, we're coming to their house.
This is why they're very romantic.
You know, we don't understand Neir Shabbos Kodesh. There's halachas about Neir. Chacham Masakin to light a Neir. The Chazal Masakin to light a Neir. It was so important there should be a Neir in the house. If you were the Chazal were not mechayiv the Neir, a person could say, you know, I'm not interested in spending it. You're going to stumble around my house the Friday night. So what type of Friday night is it? So Chazal said, no. You're not going to buy a Friday night without a Neir. That's not going to be covered. Oynig Shabbos. What type of Shabbos are you going to have? And Mizbah Shabbos, you have to buy a Neir. Because with a Ner, it brings a simcha in the house, a shalom bayis, and there's an oynik Shabbos. You could see where you're eating, you could see the other person. So today we don't really understand this concept.
Karayim, it said, "V'lo be'aru esh b'chol mosholechem." There's stay without
Right.
fire.
They say without fire at all.
Yeah.
Even today, you know, today we still can understand the natives. We don't understand as much, but we could still see, you know, people whenever there's festive places. Till to this day, people light candles in restaurants and other places and festive meals. Candles are considered more, makes the meal look more special. So you see, comes a Shabbos meal. It's very special. There's candles lit and there's a whole suda. So it's a nice thing. But we don't, you know, what it was those days, Mamish Ner was real. It was real Shalom Bayis. It was real Oynik Shabbos, really covered Shabbos, and Mamish Olden Yanim.
The only time I saw it was in the summertime in a bungalow. It was like middle davening, like Bechonarano. It was fun then. Boom. There was no light, the whole bungalow. And over there it's dark, I'm telling you. Really dark. So you go in every bungalow you saw candlelight from Shabbos on the table. That saved the whole bungalow.
Wow, that's Taka experience.
That must have been very, very.
Upstate, you have this once in a while. They're not able to handle.
So I said in Shabbos morning, you see,
electricity.
we learn in Shabbos, we never understand what it means, the Torah says. That everybody realizes it.
People have the big problems that they have with their chalans and all the soups and everything. You know, if it's not on a gas
Yeah,
stove, so they have. Yeah. ומדברי סופר מדרבנן אסר אפילו ליchter limchik shloya manas lichter. Even though we're not tired, it's not a problem to erase, not in order to write, but it's also midrabanan. Therefore, practical halacha also lishber uga she'also lekim in oisius. It's also to break a cookie on Shabbos, which there is letters written on it.
Yeah, but today they make piece of chocolate. We write an happy birthday. You take off the chocolate.
Oh, well now
They
you're
don't
learning
write
why.
on the cake anymore.
Why are they saying that?
Yeah, huh?
That he's talking about a situation.
Yeah, they
where
used to do
didn't
it.
The bakery read the din shim shimam and
Yeah,
Well, that's exactly what they're saying.
yeah, even though he does not have a mind for eating.
No,
I'm
it doesn't
sorry,
have- it
only
doesn't
has
have
a mind to eat.
He doesn't have mind to raise the letter. You want to eat. Okay.
Right. Because he's erasing lapayel. Have a motor little latinik, you're allowed to give it to a child.
I think we learned this one, so.
If you should cut and a oisla and also in tzarech la free shake and his barbas in the shivim gimel. This is a simon we learned 3 semanim later, simon shivim gimel, which mentions also this halacha.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same halacha, right? A good memory. What Maisa is that a cotton who does things on a child who's below the age of chinuch. It's not clear over here, it doesn't tell you all the dinim, but you have to fill in the blanks. But
Why has to be below
a minor who is below the age, yeah, you can't give.
You know,
Minor who's below the age of chinuch, I can give him the cookie,
that whole pilpul.
not into his mouth.
Yeah, the whole pilpul.
you don't have an obligation to tell him stop.
It's liachle in Shmini. It says
Cotton oichel. The kalal is again. Cotton oichel. The halacha is Gemara is a machlekes about it, but the halacha is all the Rishonim paskin. Cotton oichel nevelis ein bezim tzil afrishay. Child is eating even a nevela or something awesome in a Torah. If he's below the age of chinuch, and he's not doing it on your instructions or because he's trying to make you happy, he's doing it because he wants to do it for his own pleasure. Like it says here, lehana osay. Cotton oichel na osay. You don't have to stop him. So over here, the child, you gave him a cookie which has letters on it, right? He, on his own, wants to eat it. He's not eating it for you. You told him to eat it. He asked you for a cookie. And he took the cookie and ate it.
And if he's above the age of chinuch, if his father's
I don't understand it.
You're not allowed to put it in his mouth. Then you're directly feeding him Isser Lo Yisachilim. You're giving it to his mouth, befiv, you're not allowed. There it's clear. It says it clear. You're not allowed to give befiv, but you're allowed to give it to his hands. You give it to his hands, you put it in front of him. He eats it, it's his business. If he's below the age of chinuch.
I don't understand. If he's below the age of chinuch, he can eat trefa, nevelo. Which house,
I
kosher
can't
house, bring nevelo to the house and you see it right there?
Situation. with the
Which
You're-
Orthodox house will bring trefa to the house and the kids will see it?
Yeah, listen, Shulchan Aruch tells you all the dinim, even cases which don't always happen, because you have to know the halachas. But here it is a practical example of it. The practical example of it is that
Put a cookie that has letter on it in front of the baby.
right.
In my phone.
Cookies, I understand.
You're allowed to put it in front. You
I don't know
know?
what happened.
But not nevelot.
Yeah, I just said. Then I just said it's
The
dirty.
woman comes into
Maybe
someone's
for some
house
dog food.
and they bring.
By the way, nevela you're not allowed. One second, David. Nevela, I want to tell you something which we spoke about then. Shem Gimel. It gets complicated. We don't want to get all back into it again. But there is a difference between Hilchas Shabbos and nevela. When it comes, the din is that cotton oichel nevelis lahana otzai. Cotton eating nevela for his own hana, his own pleasure, not for the adult.
Has to be cooked already.
You don't have to tell him to stop. You don't have to stop him if he's below the age of chinuch. It's the father, everyone the same. He's under the age of chinuch. But
Even if he's above the age of chinuch.
But what is considered my helping him, aiding him? How far? When is it considered lo yisachil? So the poskim say there's a difference between it comes to macholes asuris, things like nevelos and treifis, and it comes to Shabbos. There's a difference. When it comes to nevelos and treifis, you're not allowed to put it on the table in front of him. If you put it on the table in front of him, it's as if I'm telling him go and eat
to
it.
fit in.
I'm sitting as if I'm feeding him. So if he on his own goes and picks it up, I don't have to stop him. Api halacha. Min hadin. It's anyways toiv for macholas asuris to stop because it doesn't bring out good midas toivis in the child. If we shouldn't allow the child to do it, but not a chiyuv. But when it comes to macholas asuris, if put it in front of him, it's already considered isser sfia, isser loisachil. Shabbos, they're both the same. You're not allowed to. There's an isser sfia, but how do you magder? How do you define what's considered stuffing the child? So by macholas asuris, we're machmer. You can't even put it in front of him. Shabbos, halachas Shabbos, we allow you to put the cookie or any other object which you could do a malacha with in front of him.
You are.
But not elevated.
In front of him, but not tell him to do it. He does it on his own. Why is there this difference between Shabbos and other Asurim? I'm just saying my own reason, the way I understand it. There's a lot of people discuss it, a lot of arguments. The way it seems to me clear is that the difference like this. Something which is Asr, like Machal Asuris, it itself is essentially Asr. It's a piece which is Asr. Something which is Asr. You're feeding him something which is Asr. However, when I give him an object to do malacha with, I didn't give him something Asr. There's nothing Asr about the cookie. The cookie's not Asr. He's not allowed to eat a cookie. The problem is that he's going to do a malacha with the cookie. So I gave him an object which he can do something malacha with. So when it comes to Shabbos, I gave him strings and I know he's going to tie a knot with it. Shkoyach, but I didn't make him tie the knot.
Yeah.
So that's why there is a differentiation what's considered. When it comes to Macholis, Asuris, and Nevelis, putting it in front of him is problematic. When it comes to Shabbos, putting it in front of him is okay. It's only putting it into his mouth. So that's what the story of the cookie is. The cookie is over here.
And also that Macholot Asurot Metamtimim with Alev.
Correct. So therefore, even if in a case where you didn't put it in front of the katan, and he himself went and took it, where there's for sure no Isser, there's still an inyan to stop him. It's not this inyan that you're saying that it brings, the Macholis Asuris bring out bad midas toivis, bad midas and nature into the child, and it's the Shulchan Aruch itself says it's better to stop the child. You don't have a chiyuv, but it's better to stop the child. Now, so L'maisa, getting back to the situation here, you have many cookies. Practically speaking, your child is 3-4 years old. And when it comes to chinuch, we spoke then that there's a different age of chinuch for mitzvahs essay and mitzvahs loises. In general, we say chinuch depends on each mitzvah for itself. When the child has enough understanding to be able to do the mitzvah and understand the idea behind it, then they're chayiv in the mitzvah. Loisase comes to don'ts. Don'ts, you have to just, the child has to be able to be old enough to be trained not to do this. But they don't have to actually understand why it's usher. You have to be able to know, I don't eat that. So when you're talking about a loisase don't, or we do not, it's a lower age, and already in an earlier stage, they're going to be ready for chinuch. We don't do that, that's muksa. We don't touch this as usher. Masha'en kenim is essay, whatever the reason might be, there's discussions why there's this differentiation, but by mitzvah essay, the age of chinuch is also dependent on the child understanding what the mitzvah is about. They have to have understanding, why am I making kiddush? Because the 6 days Hashem worked, and 7 days he rested, he wants us to rest. A very simplistic child version, but he has to be able to understand that. So l'maisa, things like doing malacha on Shabbos, it's a loisase. So it's in a lower age. So you're talking about 3-4, the child already has to be trained in. He's not allowed to touch these items. You have to tell him not allowed to touch a smuksa, you're not allowed to touch this on Shabbos. So the only age that this is applicable, really, what it says here, is only underneath that age, you can give the child the cookie, not in the mouth.
Question.
Yeah.
They have a whole sheet cake,
Yeah.
birthday. They wrote an happy birthday in the middle. You mean you have a lot of space. I was there, and some people say you're not allowed to cut it at all, not allowed to touch it. So I said, I'm going to cut it,
You're allowed
and
to
I'm
cut
going to
around
leave.
it.
I'm going to leave the.
There's no problem cutting around it.
No problem.
No problem. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but some people say you're not allowed to because it's next to it.
Because they're stupid.
Listen, maybe they don't want it, they're on a diet, maybe. They don't want anyone eating the cake, so it's a little hard for them. But there's no problem. You're not touching the letters. That's why the bakeries are careful now that they put it on the...
Yeah, you put a piece of chocolate, it's the best.
But
then
you
all
want
the
to eat
kids fighting for the
so
chocolate.
Then you have so it's still the shiloh because you want to eat the chocolate. Then you have
By the way,
other-
special designs are also problematic.
Oh really?
Yeah, and I have to think, someone asked me this Shabbos...
Everything is designed. The cake is
Someone
designed.
asked me this Shabbos, the cakes, they have all these beautiful flowers and this.
So you're allowed to eat the flour. It's a problem. The flour is very intricate sometimes.
I don't really know the answer to that question, but the oilam's makel, that's for sure. But
Oh, it's for
I don't
sure
really
makel.
know.
Maybe the
I'm not saying. I'm saying that the oilam's all
The
makel. I
Olam
don't.
doesn't even realize that there's even a shot. I never heard of this before.
If there's sure there's an intricate design on it, let's say someone drew up. They able to make with they made some picture on it. Let's say.
Okay, but we're talking about a pattern, not a picture.
So I don't know. That's the thing. That's just probably the difference over here. There's some difference. It's not clear. It doesn't say in Poskim clearly this. Akapan and Shulchan Aruch doesn't say clearly
It doesn't talk about
the
it.
chiluk between the designs. In the Shulchan Aruch,
The picture is like Siva almost because it's depicted.
we're going to learn about the Summa, by the way. Making pictures on Shabbos, drawing pictures. What's the Isser?
Siva.
Ksiva's Oisius.
Oh.
What is
Well, actually, you're right. It's not an Av. It's a Tulda.
Oh, really?
The Tulda, if you draw something which has Toichen to it, if you draw something which has, if you draw like the artists draw, you draw something nice, then you have an issue of drawing that and erasing that in Shabbos.
No, well, there's a whole issue also as to just how do you define an oath. Now, for instance, like let's see
Letter.
a letter,
Oath.
a letter in English.
Other languages.
It's just like in other languages, like it's just an arbitrary thing.
Right.
But there actually, as a matter of fact, there are certain languages in which a picture
Is
in fact a letter.
Okay,
So then it's going to be
then
more
for
of an
sure-
issue.
Then it's for sure ISIS.
Yeah, Sivches.
But
Sivches.
someone who doesn't speak that language, doesn't know that language, it's meaningless.
Remember
Like, let's say
Chinese.
if you just make like some kishkush, like in Chinese, to someone who doesn't know Chinese, it's meaningless. But
the
for
person who
Chinaman,
does
Well, Maisa, we're gonna
it's a
see.
letter.
There are opinions that hold, unless you write Ksav Ashuri, Hebrew letters like in the Mishkan, was done on the Krushim. You write Ksav Ashuri, proper, like a Soifer writes. You're not chayiv. It's also b'derabban. You're not chayiv. It's such a shita.
What? Why?
And not only that, if you didn't write the
Why?
tag in, we'll see later on. I don't want to get too into it now, but if a soifer didn't write the tag in, the crowns, the special crowns of the letters itself are fine, but he missed out the crowns, so maybe that's not considered the script for itself. But that's all when you're doing Ksav Ashuri. But what happens when you write English? And what happens in English itself? You have let's say even Lashon Kodesh, the way we write, when we write, it's called Ksav Mesita. We write Hebrew, script Hebrew. It's not like Ksav Ashuri. It's a different script. It's similar somewhat to the Ksav Ashuri. It's derived from it, but it's different. It's a quick script that we use for writing. We're not always going to write professional safros when we write. So that's how we write always.
Typically don't.
Too many legs of the
Typically
letter.
don't.
We don't. So
Nobody writes with Savashuri. So why Savashuri is not considered writing?
Ksav Ashuri is.
So why isn't you Chayiv? Why isn't Chayiv?
If you don't write Ksav Ashuri, or if you write Ksav Ashuri, you don't
didn't
write
read the whole
Ksav
letter
Ashuri
that I
perfectly.
Well, how could that be?
Let's say you don't write the crowns on the top.
How could it be not Chayiv?
If you don't write the crowns on top, the Shitas hold your that you're not chayiv. But look, let's wait. Let's wait for the discussion of it. Let's finish. This still has a very important halacha coming up. So l'maisa l'gabi the cookies. L'gabi the cookies. The Alter Rebbe is machmer even with over here he doesn't discuss it. But in Hilchos Pesach, there's a discussion about the matzahs. They used to make the matzahs those days. They wanted to know which matzahs were the first matzah that came out. They had a special. They used to make the matzah out of a certain amount of flour. It was a zeicher for the lachmi toida, the bread that was brought for the toida. They would make the same sheer amount of flour, and if each matzah would be a thick matzah. We one time spoke about this. A big thicker matzahs, even thicker than the ones that you have. So the maisa, the lafa matzah, much thicker. So the maisa they were like cakes. They would write on the matzahs. They wanted to know which one came out first. 1, 2, 3. Which was going to be the Kohen, Levi, and Yisrael. So Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach says that they used to write on it Aleph, Beis, and Gimel. But they didn't write with something else on it, ink. They wrote with it. They engraved in the bottom of the matzah the dough. They made a little small Aleph on it. And they made a Beis and they made a Gimel. The Alter Rebbe said that's a problem. The chiddush with that is that there is one of the achronim, one of the big achronim, the Shuvas Marash Alevi, the Shlomo Alevi. It's quoted in the Magen Avram that he held that when you engrave letters and when you eat engraven letters, chakukis into the cookie, it's made of the cookies of like the tea biscuits. They say on it, tea biscuits, whatever they say on it inside the tea biscuits. He's saying that that's not moichik. You're allowed to eat those on Shabbos. Even the gedolim kitty, the adults kitty.
It's part of the cookie.
Part of the cookie.
Yeah.
He held it's not a problem.
He's right.
So the Maisa, there are some achronim the Mataka take on that mahalach, like you want to say. But the Alter Rebbe in Hilchos Pesach doesn't seem that he goes with this mahalach because
But they
he
don't
held.
do it today. They do it today.
Yes, the
Pesach?
tea biscuits. Oh, not in the matzah, but the tea biscuits you have. If you look on the store,
Yeah, they have rating now.
all the tea biscuits that they sell in the store have on
I
it.
think it says
Something
The name from the company. The
They say
company
things
name.
from the company.
it's always engraved.
So the Maisa Alter Rebbe himself doesn't hold to this heter. But he held that it's problematic because when the matzahs he's writing, it's problematic. What's the problem with eating the matzah? What's the big deal? But one thing is interesting in Hilchos Pesach. The Alter Rebbe in another place discusses how you should not, whether or not you're allowed to make designs on the matzah. You want to make a picture of a bird on the matzah. Right? See, those days matzahs there was no matzah bakeries. Everyone personally baked in the house matzah. Every yid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not only that, they would bake it. There were some that bake it right after they came home from shul. They came home from shul the first night of the Seder. They came home. They baked the matzahs for the Seder that night.
Very fresh.
Some people still do it, and just for the Seder, just for that night's matzahs. Anyways, there are some people that do matzahs mitzvah after Chatzos on our Pesach. There are a lot of people that want to buy those matzahs and eat those matzahs, and again, they're very, very expensive. I think matzah in general is very expensive, but these matzahs are $9 a piece or something.
$30 matzah.
30 a matzah?
The one they do right before, after Chatzot, before Lichbenchen. $30
So if
matzah.
you bake it yourself, you could save money.
I once I've had it. I'll tell you the truth, it was very hard.
They
It's
wouldn't
hard,
give you.
huh?
I think because they don't have so much time to roll it out.
They wouldn't give you what?
It's also allowed
To buy
Doing it
much
so
matzah.
quick.
They will sell you only 3
That
matzahs.
they're not fitting
Oh,
it out
so
enough.
3 matzahs?
Yeah.
At least that's what my
Never bought
theory
those?
why it was hard.
$30 a matzah,
Yep.
$90.
My grandfather
$90 for
was,
3
you know,
matzahs.
And you do it for the Seder?
Yeah.
Do it for a
used to
Seder?
take me
Do they taste
when I was
better
a
or
kid.
no?
It's still hot.
Erev
Oh, really?
Pesach.
It's
They
still
gave
hot
him the
almost?
baker. They gave him a few hours, and he baked
Where do you pick it
matzot
up from?
for
Do
the
you
whole
have to go
my
college?
family.
No, I have
Not
to do
only
it in the bakery.
you know, my uncle,
Oh, you-
everybody
this year
according
you did
to
it?
how
I
many
did
eats
myself
in the
the-
family. This gets 6 matzah, this
matzah.
gets 4
Oh, you
matzah,
baked
this gets
there,
10
there,
matzah, this
yeah.
gets 5 matzah.
No, I
I
did
used to bring
before,
the
but
water
there's 3
and help
matzahs to
him,
do
stay with
before.
him 3-4
Baked.
hours,
Very nice.
put nice box and bring it.
I
and
didn't
go
become more
deliver.
holy after this Pesach.
Erev
You did
Pesach.
become a home.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I was a kid. You know?
Okay. So actually, by the Alter Rebbe allows letters, engraved lettering, engraved pictures, engraved designs.
You're allowed to eat.
He allowed it. Yeah, about the matzahs. There's other issues with making it on Pesach because people, when they sit making these designs, it takes time and it can become chametz while you're waiting around. So there's other issues about making the design that you have to be careful with. But regarding the Hilchas Shabbos part of it, the Hilchas Yom Tif, being moichik on Yom Tif, that's not an issue. So we see there's a difference between an engraved design, engraved picture, or an engraved letter. The Alter Rebbe, for some reason, by the way, there have been maybe 20 people have written Pilpulim to try to understand where the Alter Rebbe, why the Alter Rebbe made this differentiation between engraved
Pictures
oisies and engraved pictures, engraved tziyurim. It's very difficult, as both of them are asim and Torah. One is an av and one is a tilde. But why should the tilde be different? The tilde is like the av. So why should we say that engraved pictures, engraved designs are
It's
different?
part of the cookie.
Good, so you should say the letter is also part of the cookie.
Yeah.
So
It goes both ways.
it's difficult, and listen, everyone has this. There are a lot of svaras out there. Everyone's throwing out the svaras. I'm just saying it's not a clear thing. What's the difference between the two?
When I was in Israel, there was a dayan that they give on Shabbos between davening and this halachas, and he says if a cookie is small, like the animal cookies or the olive-based cookies, if it's small and you could put the whole cookie in your mouth, then you could eat it. If it's big that you have to crack it, you can't do it.
Yeah.
The people says, what's the difference if
He
you break in your
doesn't say-
mouth the
he
whole
doesn't
thing
say.
or half of
I
it?
had my own Torah when I learned these things in depth. I had my own little Torah to say why. I don't know if it's emes. I'm just saying why the Alter Rebbe was makel for the tzura when it's a tzura chakuka, an engraved picture. I thought to say like this, that the Alter Rebbe later on we're going to see when he says that when you make designs that they're chayiv as a tolda of koisiv, he said the lashon he says it's in Sefirot later. He says it's only when you do it kiderech shatzayarim reishmim. It's only the way artists draw. So it means that only the way artists draw. The shayla is, why did it say only the way artists draw? Why does he have to add in these three words, Kadesh Separation? Just say that whenever you draw, you write and you draw. Elamai. Just like when you write, it has to be considered exact in order to be considered Chayim in Torah. So too when you're drawing pictures, it's only professional pictures. Professional designs. So because this is a tolda, you need to be compared to the av. The av has to be professional, and if you're not similar to the av, you can't be a tolda. So l'maisa, it could be that when I'm doing these type of designs, these are really not professional designs. Yeah, so you made a little shape of a bird, you made something, it's nothing special. So therefore it wouldn't be an issue. Another thing to add is that when artists draw, they don't draw on cookies and matzahs.
Today you have a cake
So
with
they-
the pictures. You know the Hasana pictures? Hasana Galvin. It's mamash, you make a cake and then
It's
you
amazing
you
how they
print-
do it. I
you
don't know
print
how
the
they
picture. It's with the machine, it's ink.
Yeah.
Really picture.
I know you could print it, yeah. You put it through a printer.
Every cake you can put picture. Not
You
to
put it
How
through
do
a
they do
printer.
You send the picture.
Oh, regular print. I sell printers like that. It's very cheap. You have a printer and you just need special dough, like parchment paper. It's like paper. Put it into the printer. Just print it. The ink is edible ink. The same ink as the non-edible ink, but it's just edible. And you can print the picture. You can buy the whole thing for very cheap.
You can buy these type of printers.
No, regular printer. They discovered a regular Canon printer. You're able to use that
Paper.
edible paper.
Yeah?
So you buy the edible paper for $20, and then you buy the edible ink, and you just use the regular printer. Anyone could become a professional.
Wow.
No big deal.
That's fascinating. So where does regular stores sell these? Where can I buy
On
the special
eBay.
ink?
On eBay.
Interesting.
Everything on eBay.
Very fascinating.
Oh, there's
You do everything on eBay.
No
That's
hashkafa.
good. You
That's the
said
problem.
So,
There's no hashkafa on the ink.
no, they don't have one with hashkacha yet?
No, the
No, but there
market-
are cakes that they come out with these pictures.
Right, so I don't know.
There must be bakeries that have a.
Right.
Every bakery said they do.
Maybe the
picture.
ones that are selling there don't have, but the bakeries themselves are doing it. They must
And they
have
charge you,
hashkacha.
Must
they
have
charge you
hashkafa.
triple and triple and triple.
So that on Shabbos you can't eat. That on Shabbos you can't eat. Even if it's a... The truth is, they have to think about it. No, it's not engraved anyway, so no heter to eat it. There's no heter to eat it. You can't eat it on Shabbos. You have to wait for Matzai Shabbos. Bissel skafia. So Maisa... Let's finish the sip. V'oisim svarim shekasav alim oisim. Now we have in books, a lot of times in books people put their names, the library or people stamp over the shul makes a stamp here.
You can't open it.
So opening and closing that on Shabbos, is that an issue?
You're breaking the letter.
Break moichik the letters? Kaisav moichik. Machlaikis. Oisim svarim shekasav alim oisiyes berashei chudei hadafim. Yesh oisim some oiser liftoichem a Shabbos, now let it open it mishum moichik. V'chein leilim you have one open from before Shabbos, now let it close it mishum kaisav. Jav shin miskaven lekach, even though he's not having mind to do this. Psik reisha v'layamasu. It's a psik reisha, it's gonna for sure happen. The lashon always is talking about a bird, cutting the bird's head, right? So you can't, even if you tie, I don't want to kill the bird, I just want to have the head of the bird to play with. But you're cutting the bird's head, it's a psik, whether you have kavanah or not kavanah. So you're v'yesh mitter, and others say no, it's mutter. Mutter l'nal, you can close it. Shekivan she'oisis in ksubas kartons, the letters are already written. Shemuchusaran came out, you just need to put them next to each other. It's not considered writing.
You're talking about that there's lettering over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a lot of times.
Stamps.
The libraries
Stamps.
and other places.
Oh, the stamps.
Libraries stamp it and other.
You usually have like a pattern, like a flowery pattern.
No, then it's only colors. But talking letters, mom, it's a stamp from a shirt. Yeah.
Ein bezem mishum koisev ki mishav shavakivim bekal. This is ma'isa chodesh. Since you can easily bring them close to each other without creating, you don't have to rewrite it or anything. It's as if they're all together all the time. It's not like you're doing anything. And you also can open it times for this very reason. It's not like you're erasing it. Their writing is already there. And he's not. When you open it, you're not destroying it because you can right away put it back together. So it's like you're not doing anything. You're not erasing, not writing. It's easy to put it back together. Open it. There's no new ma'isa. Halacha l'ma'isa. He writes v'chein noig, and the minig is to be mekel. I think the Mishabrut over here says if you could be machmer, but the Alter Rebbe writes just that v'chein noig, and the minig is to be mekel. A big about Yishamayim wants to be machmer. He can be machmer. Even the Mishabura, it's only a chumrah.
So they should never do that. The shul should never do that. They should never try to stamp on the ends.
The shul should not lechatchil do it. But what happens if the shul, the gabbai did it already? The gabbai did it already.
Or kid did
So
it.
you're gonna have a mekel.
No, 1 year we had some of the kids.
Or someone donates to the shul a lot of svarim with
And he
the.
thinks it's a smart idea to do it.
No, 1 year we had a kid who sort of started helping stamp the form and sort of stamped them across the pages.
He did it that way, like this.
Yeah.
We had an issue where the middle kids there. They were
playing
dirt
around,
and
but it
this.
wasn't so serious.
It went like this. It didn't hurt. Then we took something like this, and it came out. It wasn't on the letter, but it was like between the.
Also, it wasn't on the letter.
It wasn't on the letter. It was
It wasn't really a problem.
It was dirt. What happened is,
why do you
some people eat on the beamer, right? And food said when he did Hagbe, like he opened it, so he went in. So when you fold like this, he touched the inside.
So they try to get it off?
Yeah, we did get it off. We took some this and he went off and it's
You're
okay.
not allowed to.
No, it wasn't on the letter.
It wasn't
on the letter. He said
There was no problem.
it wasn't on the letter.
Still, you cleaning it is not good.
No, but you're thinking how something like that can on the secretary. Nobody eat on the
You wouldn't,
secretary.
if you were the Rav, you would say that it's not a good idea to take it off on Shabbos.
You don't need to in this case. You don't need to take it off.
So why did they?
Firstly, you have
Because
a
it was
very
dirt.
big
You
Rav
don't
here.
wanna have a
in the
dirt
shul, so
on
you
the-
have a Rav, you can ask all your shabbos.
No, I'm saying it's discussing this now.
If Rav knows.
Oh, he knows, yeah.
No, what I'm saying is, what is their problem? What they did?
He looked and he saw that he doesn't block any.
No, they didn't ask
any
him.
letter.
Rub it off.
They probably didn't ask the Rav.
Took it off. I don't know. I don't know if it's a problem just to pull it off. If they broke it up into little pieces,
No.
crumbled it,
It was
it's a
sticky.
problem. But
It
if
was
you
sticky
didn't,
on it.
you just move it off. I don't know.
Clothing is a very
Right.
big issue. Very big.
Taking off dirt off clothing could be an issue.
Anything, yeah, it's very hard to keep.
Learn this
that.
din. I don't remember the din. It's Simon Shin Beis and Shach about it. It's not so clear, but
This is one thing the Rav have to know good because he can Google on Shabbos.
well, the Ragat Shavar used to say.
Wait, everything.
By Google.
The Ragat Shavar used to test for smicha. He would always test them to see if they know Hilchas Kriyas, Hilchas Sefer Torah, because he said that's a shaila that the Rav is not gonna have time to look up. Other
And the
shailas
spot yes,
said if you're in a Shemayim, so you don't know it, so you're gonna look it up. You're not gonna say you know it. But what happens if you're standing by the Sefer Torah and there's a mistake in the Sefer Torah? You don't know if it makes a puzzle or not makes a puzzle. You need to call
You
him.
have to know.
So if you don't know, you're going to feel compelled to answer the shaila because otherwise, what you don't know the
Or
answer.
you could call to
So therefore, this you have to know. So he's to faher. You have to know the Sefer Torah.
I wonder what the fire was
Or
like.
you could call
for the
Tina across the street.
For the other job.
I forgot which Rav.
There's one time someone showed the Rebbe when the Rebbe was up years ago. The earlier someone about Koida showed the Rebbe the wrong place where the kriya is. They didn't show the right kriya. And the Rebbe made the bracha. After he made the bracha,
We had that problem.
opened the
over here.
Sefer Torah, and it wasn't the right place of the kriya. So, because the halacha is that you have to see the place where you're going to read, make the bracha on what you're going to read. But it wasn't, the bracha wasn't there. So the Rebbe motion that he wanted to hear
said it
from
was the wrong parsha.
the Rav of Shmuel Levitin, he wanted to hear from him what he had to say,
What to do?
and because the Rebbe always would wait for the Rav. So the Rav told him he has to say the bracha again. The Shas, he said the bracha again, he was crying. He was crying that he had to say a bracha again.
Wow.
What he said
I heard from two people, different people who were there that time.
Wow.
You feel like it's bracha levatayra, you know?
The Etzem Shail itself I did not look into. Maybe there's other opinions, whatever. Is the Rebbe was going to follow whatever the Ravs told him, so it wasn't the Rebbe wasn't going to argue with the Rebbe always listened when the Rav.
Wow.
I just look from
You know, when the Rebbe wasn't feeling well that time after the heart attack, so the Rabbanan wanted to come into the Rebbe and tell him that he has to go to the hospital. Pi halacha, they're going to paskin. The Rebbe asked him, please don't paskin, because if you paskin, then I have to listen. He doesn't want to go to the hospital, so don't paskin.
Wow.
Right.
Rabbi Shapira said that when the Rebbe davened for the Omud, somebody came in middle Chazal Shas, a chosen. So when the Rebbe finished, he motioned to the Rebbe, there's a chosen over here. So the Rebbe turned and he see the chosen staying over here, he doesn't have a talis and tefillin. So he said, did you daven with us? He said, no. He said, Boy Shmuel Levitin, what's to do? Say Tachman. So Shmuel Levitin says, let them go out. Then we could say Tachman.
It's not Chris.
It's from yesterday.
I'll do it right after tomorrow.
Okay.